Today's topic, fat and fat stigma. My name is Justin McNuggets Baconator, and you are watching Jinka Jabo. Okay, now we all know my name isn't Justin McNuggets Baconator, but I thought it was appropriate because the author of the article we're going to look at today, her name is Linda Bacon, and she says that fat is not the problem. Fat stigma is, and what really drew me to this article is the fact that it's from Scientific American, and this is a website that I remember as a magazine that I read as a kid that really was on the forefront, cutting edge of everything. I remember it was them and then Wired, but you know, my family, we liked reading science magazines and going to the library, we could get all of them. So we read a lot of these. But to see Fat is not the problem, Fat Stigma is, by Linda Bacon, is kind of odd and kind of a sign of our times, in the sense that we have placed too much emphasis on just making people feel good all the time. And I really wanted to talk about this because this ties into my earlier videos about the New Age, essentially, about A Course in Miracles, Marianne Williamson, and so on. Is this idea that we can somehow surpass any kind of suffering to get to where we need to be, that we can just reach that point without going through any terrible introspection or transformation or the sweat of agony, I guess, as Mary Baker Eddy would put it. So anyway, I remember there was that ad in the UK, I believe, Are You Beachbody Ready? And it showed a very physically fit, athletic woman in a bikini. And it caused so much outrage that they had to get rid of the ad. And we've seen this time and time again. And every now and then, and this is part of the dark web, I guess, this is part of right-wing videos, certainly, that I watch. Like, they will bring that up and they'll make fun of it and whatever, and I usually just dismiss it. But somehow this recent article by Scientific American just sort of, it made me think about how crazy it is and how awful it is when you think of how unhealthy it is to be fat, and how we're trying to make it easier for people. And how, does anyone remember the documentary Super Size Me, how they talked about how vehicles have had to make bigger cup holders? I remember when I first went to Korea, and this was more than 10 years ago at this point, I was able to amaze classes of students by explaining to them how big beverage containers were in America. Because like the largest size in Korea at the time was like a small in America. Yeah, they hadn't quite caught up to us yet, but perhaps they have. I noticed in Korea and in China and here in Vietnam that people consume a fair amount of soda. They all call it different things. In Korea, it's Coke. In China, it's Cola, and here it's Coca. So it seems like they all took one part of Coca-Cola. Anyway. So fat stigma is, so what this article is saying, that we shouldn't make people feel bad about being fat. Okay, all right, well, should everyone just be okay with being fat? I mean, is that just the new standard now? Is everyone just going to eat themselves to death? Is it going to be like that great movie, Wall-E, that Pixar film? I don't normally watch these Pixar movies or anything or get excited about that, but I remember Wall-E had that great scenario where it was a bunch of people just drifting around on couches with their Netflix and their social media and whatever, and they're all just porking out. We're basically there. But, you know, it's bad. I get it. In America, people are so angry, and there's a stigma against hurting people's feelings in a way, you know. Or you can use that against other people, or it becomes like a victim status, identity points kind of thing. But the answer isn't just to make everyone feel good. The answer isn't just to give everyone a trophy. I mean, there has to be some kind of balance between yelling and picking fights with strangers and making them feel shame, or just saying that there shouldn't be any shame at all, that we should just accept these fat people. Like that great Simpsons episode, King Size Homer, where he decides to get overweight to escape or to get on disability. Like, no, there is a problem. Like, you're hurting yourself, you're hurting other people. And there's nothing wrong with pointing it out. And the person who says that you have a problem with being fat, they have problems the dimensions of which you can't fathom. It's a struggle for everyone. Everyone has demons. Everyone has things that they're facing. But I guess if this bacon author wants to say that we should still treat fat, but we should make people feel better about it, then okay. I guess we can still have this CBT kind of Carl Rogers unconditional positive regard sort of thing that we've still been doing for 50 years now. But we still have a lot of fat people, and that's one thing that you certainly learn, as I have learned traveling to other countries, is that you don't see the number of obese people in other places. And I don't think that fat stigma really is the problem if we could compare it to other countries. And in America, there is virtually no fat stigma compared to places like this. Strange article, strange times we're living in. But I'll talk to you again soon. Over and out.